to what I said. I said I was going to get out of the house and I wasn't going to be inside all day. I did take a while this morning to try to get our email campaigns up and going, but that turned to be an experience in trying to challenge my brain and doing stuff that I wasn't prepared to do. So after several hours of working on it, I took a break and then I went back to it. And I think I figured out how to get our email campaigns back up and running. And that was because DC37 made a complaint about our emails and had our email campaign shut down. But don't you worry, I used to program when I was a kid. So it did take me a little while to remember my programming skills, and I'll at least have one of them up, if not more, when I get done here. But today I did tell you I was going to, I had to put a new battery in my MG. And I did want to get that going. And I also wanted to try to figure out where the battery cable, so, you know, you have two battery cables that go to your battery, your car battery. And you have your positive and your negative. Well, because this is a kit car, this is a 1952 MGTD, and it is on a 1970 Beetle chassis. So it's really a Beetle in disguise. And I wanted this car for two reasons. One, it had the engine in this car is the same engine that's in my bus, and I'll show you that too. But this car was, now don't laugh, if you remember, because I'm a kid of the 80s, if you remember 8 is Enough, Abby, the mom, drove in 1952 Hunter Green MGTD, and I have loved that car since the 80s. And I also liked her character, but when I saw this car, I just had to have it. And it's not a real MG. I'll show you all telltale signs. The real MGs are pretty pricey. They're like well over $25,000 if you can find one in decent shape that the floor pans aren't rotted out on. I did find one, ironically, in Alabama during the pandemic. And it did have old New York tags on it, New York license plates, and New York inspection stickers. So I was really excited. But it was so old, and it had been sitting on the ground that the front beam and the floor pans were all rotted. And I'd replaced the front beam on the bus during COVID, so I didn't want to do that again because that was a real bear and it was a lot to learn. But at least this is easy, and it's a fun car. To me, this is like a big wheel like we used to have as kids, and I enjoy hanging out in it. It's a convertible car, and it's like a little roadster, but it is literally a Beetle. So it makes it easy to work on because it's a 4-speed and it's a simple 1.6 liter engine. But this battery today is really easy, and I'll show you what I'm doing. And then I needed to try to find where the negative battery post is grounded on this car, because the battery cable is frayed. So it was important to try to find where that is. And I think I tracked it down. And I'll show you how in a second. I just want to put the grease on the battery terminals to prevent corrosion. It's very goopy. Ugh. Whoops. I keep it garage, so it's really not a big deal, but it does help. Okay. So, my cousin Dan, during COVID, I had to trying to find why my gas tank on my bus wouldn't show how much fuel was in the tank. And I was a little frustrated by that. So he got me this really neat toy. And Dan, if you're watching this, I know you'll be proud because you'll know I'll use this. And on this end, it has a camera. So if you turn it on, and it's battery operated, and it literally has a screen on it, so you can see that if it turns on, you could see up my nose. And so I was able to find in my gas tank exactly what the problem was, and I needed a new float. And then of course, once I got that in, the ground wasn't working, so I had to replace the wires. But on this car, because it is a kit, literally everything that's supposed to be where it's supposed to be doesn't. You can look at the book and you'll just never figure it out. I mean, it's literally a MacGyvered job. So I think I may have tracked down that wire. I'm not really sure, but we're gonna figure it out. And then I'll show you how that works. Let's see. Okay, so here's your gas tank. This would have been on your, this is literally a Beetle. Think about a Beetle, how the Beetle has the Volkswagen has its gas tank in the front of the car. And we're literally in the front of the car. So there's my car. And there's the battery that I just put in, and then have my cover to go over. There's my my horn, and it sounds very retro. Kind of annoying, but, and I'll also show you something else. Do not laugh at me. So I am short. I am not even 5'4", and I had to put a pedal extender on my car because I can't reach the clutch. Remember, this car, you're literally sitting in the back seat. And yes, I have a booster. Stop laughing. So you're literally, let me see if I can pull back out. You're literally sitting in the back seat, where the back seat would have been on a Volkswagen. That would have been here. You would have sat further up, and that's why I have trouble reaching the pedals. Even if you're 5'10", you'll have trouble reaching the pedals on this car. So I did buy an extender kit so I could push that clutch down. So the other reason I'm excited is because when I had to buy some parts, because you'll notice that there's no windshield on this car. I had to take it off because it's cracked. And so I had to get gaskets so that they could replace the windows with the glass here. And I ordered carpeting for it because this car is so nasty. It's absolutely disgusting. And so yeah, I wanted to be able to get it to work. And that was my job, was to try to figure out how to do that. So when I ordered $40, so I ordered the new carpets. But I mean, this car is really adorable. Gotta figure out why my lights are on, but it is really super cute. And let me get my drink out of here. So it is adorable, but it is literally like a kid's car with the suicide doors. So it's really super cute. And then I bought this new little head ornament a couple years ago. Be fierce. So that's my car. I'll show you my engine. So it is literally a Volkswagen engine. So super simple. And I'll show you, it's the same on my bus. See? Same engine, super easy. And that's why I absolutely love it. So easy to work on. And since they're exactly the same, I didn't have to worry about learning something new. So here's my bus. And I'll show you the inside because I'm almost finished with this too. My little green M. So I did all of the seat covers during COVID. Made everything nice. This is your rock and roll bed, they used to call that. It'll literally lay down, and this whole area right here will be a bed all the way to the back. I'll show you that from here. For those of you that are not familiar with a 1971 Volkswagen bus, so this would be part of the bed. That's the back of the bench. That comes down. You have your spare tire. And this is like a, funny, my tire's actually low. So the spare tire is on this bus is what gave you, it was how you power your windshield fluid. I'll show you that in a second. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but here's your storage. I got bug spray in there and seats. I wired these radio speakers in, and also, well, my power's not on. I wired this extra light back here so I could see back here. Here's your ice box. It is not a refrigerator. It is literally an ice box. So whenever I have to go somewhere, I have to put the ice in the freezer. There's my sink. Yes, I have dishes. They're absolutely adorable. Little bus dishes. With little cups. Aren't they cute? And I have a doggy bowl. That's a little bus doggy bowl. There's your captain's chair. Right there. So you can sit. A stool. And there's your kitchen table, or work table, because I use it as a work table. I come and sit out here. The outlet, which isn't a real outlet, you literally have to plug an extension cord to the outside, and then that would power inside. I rebuilt that as well. The only thing that's missing is the camper top, because this does pop up. And that's it. This also has a bed for kids that scoops over the front, and one that would be in the pop top as well. And it also has a little closet, which is where I keep my fire extinguisher in case my bus goes on fire. But that is my bus. And this is what I did during COVID. And rebuilt all of this. Oh, let me show you the... So this would be where your water is, and you see that is a little thingamabob like a tire. You would literally put pressure into the tank, which is here, from the spare tire in the back of the bus. And that's how you pressurize it so that you could wash your windows. So it was nice to get out today, but I would be out here for hours usually. I've rebuilt this bus from everything I did. When COVID started, I did not, this bus had been sitting in my garage since 2012. I had stripped it down, took all the seating out of it, and I had brought it to this guy, Shane, in Alabama, who had a chicken farm. He used to raise chickens for Purdue, chickens down here. You would have big companies like Purdue and Tyson will bring a farmer chickens, and then they'll bring them food. You have to raise them for so many weeks, and then they pay them like 5 cents a pound or something. when they bring them back. So he had an empty barn, and he used his barn for painting cars. And so I was like, you're bringing me to a chicken farmer to paint my car. Okay. So I brought my bus to him, and he did paint my bus. Not entirely happy with it, but I could kind of be OCD about stuff like that. I was a little bit more of a fanatic, but it's still good. I'm not going to complain. It needs some touching up, but and then over the time I started redoing the floor and all of the rubber gaskets, and I still have those jalousie windows, you know, those ones that open. They kind of remind me of my grandmother's house. These, and they're louvers. Like you could see, those are open on the other side. Yes, that's my lawnmower. So they're louvered with a screen. So all of the gaskets on these have to be replaced, but that is extremely time consuming and tedious, and I have to watch the YouTube video on that one more time before I do it, but I have everything, you know, to do that. There's the outlet that comes on this side. There's a little door underneath there. And then after having all the metal work done and the rust removed, I used a product called POR 15 to put a undercoating on the bottom so that it would not rust. The curtains I found online match exactly the ones that were in this bus originally, but they're reproduction, and they're made by a guy in Canada. And he sent them to me in this really nice box. It said Barbanugan on it. It's a beautiful box. I actually like the box a lot. And then there's a company in England called No Longer Available VW, where I can get reproduction parts. And he had like the pull straps, and you can see the ties on the that hold back the curtains. He had all of that. So I was really excited about that. And there's another guy in Bremen, Maine, and the company's called Busted Bus. He literally salvages buses from around the country and then parts them out and restores buses. So you could buy a bus from him, or you could buy parts from him. And I like that the parts are restored. Like, he'll clean them up and send them to you, but they're original parts. They're not reproductions. Because a lot of the garbage that comes when you're doing a restoration that comes from China, it's really crappy. And it doesn't last long, and it's really poorly made, and sometimes it doesn't fit. But those curtains were absolutely beautiful. The other thing that I got during COVID was the ceiling. Now, this bus is a wood paneled bus. So he had sent me all of this paneling in pieces, and I had to install it, kind of shave some of it down. Even on the back, it's on the back wall, you could see, and then kind of figure out how to, you do have to MacGyver things. Nothing is ever going to fit perfectly. The templates that they use are, I don't know, maybe not always to the millimeter, but I mean, it just looks beautiful. That's called a headbanger shelf because everyone always bangs their head on it. But you can see it's absolutely cool. And there was this lady that makes custom printed fabric. And I ordered this blanket from her with my name on it. Well, that was cute. Little Christmas trees. My friend Robin gave me that little peace pillow. So this used to be like my full-time thing. It was that in my garden. So it always had something to work on, but now I got to figure out why my taillights are still on, unless I left the key on. I got to figure that out. So that's it. Relax today. Don't worry about doing any emails, because it's going to be, I need to be able to make sure that everything works. And so I'll pick it up doing tomorrow. But when you guys start seeing on Monday when I put up the homework, do your phone calls. Call the speaker, call Carl Heasty's office, Speaker Heasty's office, call Governor Hochul's office. I'll make sure those phone numbers are highlighted. And Majority Leader Stuart Cousins. You'll only have about 3 phone calls to make. Keep doing those on that pension Ponzi scheme thing. It'll be better. And then that'll definitely help out. But I hope you're enjoying your weekend. I at least got a little bit done outside of my house. Oh, I'll show you here's the, this is the windshield. You can see it has these little plastic windows to the side. If I can lift it. Whoops. Okay. So these are those little wing windows that goes to the side. There's that crack. That's why I have to have it replaced. And it's a laminate glass. So they're able to fix it. I just had to order a replacement rubber gasket for them. And they'll, hopefully this week I could bring it there Monday. So hope you guys are enjoying some project yourselves this weekend, and get out a little bit because the weather was nice, and get off your computers and out of your house because this felt really nice to get outside today. So I'm going to finish up cleaning up here and then go wash my hands and go find something to make for dinner because it's almost 8 o'clock. But I hope you guys enjoy your day and are doing something fun, and I'll see you on Monday. CJP, I'm a baby boomer, and I had buddies in the late 60s that had VWs reminiscent of this one. They traveled across the country a few times a year. Their VW buses were everything to them. Yeah, so I'm in a VW club of men and women with Volkswagens. A lot of the women have Beetles or the Thing. Some of them have Carmanguias. A couple of people have buses, but not many. And so I'm one of the few that do. Some of them have taken them and not left them in their pure state. And there are people that are purists like me. Like you could see mine looks like exactly like it used to in 1971. But we do events. I'm just not always here or available to join them, but they go to dinner all the time, or they go to the breweries, and all of our old cars sit outside and we do car shows. And they had one, I think last weekend. I just couldn't get there. And they also join other car enthusiasts like muscle cars or rat rods, and so you get to talk to people. So if I'm stumped on something, I can usually find someone to help me figure it out. Like for 2 years, I couldn't figure out the light in the cabin up top, and it wouldn't go on. And even though I had it wired right, it just wasn't working. And so that's the light on the ceiling. So when you open your door, that light should go on. Well, I couldn't get it on for nothing. I bought a new light. I bought new light bulbs, and I even changed the light bulbs to LED. I thought the bulbs were part of the problem, but no, it wasn't the bulbs. The ground wire had gone bad somewhere. There was a short, and I ended up, because I told you I had wired the speakers. So to show you where that is. So the speakers are all the way back there. That's got to be, I don't know, a good 8-10 feet. So you had to run them all the way up through the ceiling, which I did. All the way up. Up and down the A-pillars. And I did that too. And you'll see they're still here because they're not wired yet. I have one last speaker I have to put in the dash. So because I still had this here, I was able to use that to attach a new ground, pull it up the A-pillar, and wire it towards that light. And I did that with friends. I did not do that alone because I was stumped on why it wasn't working. And then we got the light to work, and then we realized that, you know, the little button in the door wasn't working because because every time you would open the door, the light would go out. But if you close the door, the light would go on. So it was doing the opposite of what it was supposed to do. So they ended up helping me rewire it. So then now it goes on when it's supposed to and off when it's supposed to. But this, there's your gear shifter. This, they call it 4 on the floor. It is a typical H pattern in your shifting. Yes, for you young people, there are 3 pedals on the floor. Most people don't see that anymore, but yeah, CJP, there's a great group of Volkswagen people that have clubs all over the country. Many of them do these cross-country trips. I do not, because I'm still fighting this and don't really have time to get out. So, and I still need to put that pop top in. So as soon as I can get time to do that, I will. I do want to paint the top of it. Let me show you that. So when the guy painted my bus, he painted the pop top the same color as the bus. That should be white. And I chose not to bitch at him anymore, and I was just going to do it myself. So I have the paint. I just need to do it. I have all the new gaskets. I just need the time. And then I could take it out. Right now I just have my chair. I'll sit in my chairs and take the dogs out and you know, and go and have a good time. But it's just usually the afternoon, and I don't like traveling with it too far, because if I do get stuck, it has to be towed, and many tow truck drivers don't, they can't tow this, it has to be flatbedded. So, so I have AAA. Everyone should have AAA. But yeah, it becomes a problem. The last time I did get stuck, I ended up waiting 8 hours for a flatbed. One, because I was in East Boondock, Georgia, where people didn't want to go. And then no one had an available flatbed. So yes, there are a lot of enthusiasts that like traveling across the country with their Volkswagens. There's a guy, Colin Kellogg. He is from New York, upstate. He has a house down here, and he travels around the country helping people fix their Volkswagens and teaches them how to do stuff. And he travels in his, and his is an orange bus. I think it's a 1979, and he calls it Naranja because it's orange, Naranja Westy. I just call mine Westy. I call my red car Ruby. So yeah, crazy. Let's see. It said, D gets so wonderful. Michelle, you're truly a wonderful inspiration. Who says women can't do things? Well, and you know, Michelle, I didn't know how to fix cars. I did not know how to fix cars. Literally during COVID, this became a project. I started reading and I started watching YouTube. Everyone should go to YouTube University because you could learn how to do everything. And then my EMS group, we were holding Facebook Lives or Zooms like almost every day because people were locked up in their houses and were going stir crazy. So I didn't know how to do anything. I didn't know how to solder a wire. I didn't know how to do anything. Like I sewed all the slip covers because I knew how to sew, but I didn't know cars. So literally on Facebook and Zoom during COVID, my Lieutenant Tommy Schultz, who passed away, he used to sit on Zoom with us, and I would have the camera and I had a headlight on my head, and they would tell me what to do. And between my books and Tom and my friends and my cousin Dan, that's what I did. I literally rebuilt this whole bus during COVID. And then when it was basically done and I was waiting for parts that I couldn't get, that's when I went and got the MG. So that became my other toy. So, yes, you can live off the grid if it ever comes to that. Yes. Yes, and with like a little camper stove and a sink, because this has a 7-gallon water reservoir in the back. I still just have to put the spigot in. And there's women that go camping in these, and also in like those vans, like those big vans, I don't know what you call them. And they have they call them cassette toilets. So it's literally like a portable RV toilet with a cassette in it that you could either empty out or toss out. Or when we were kids, we literally just had like a toilet seat that was on this folding frame, and my parents would just put a garbage bag in it, and then we would just go in there and they'd throw the garbage bag away. I mean, yes, very simple. But it also has a curtain that you can hang on the inside that makes this totally private. There's they sell decals, something like if the buses are rocking, don't come knocking. I guess hippies were very loving people. So yes, it is a culture, absolutely. Just imagine you can join UFT and teach automotive. Just kidding. That's very, very funny. I did do some teaching at my mom's school with her in computer networking at PS 165 with my mom, but I did not. And then I also taught CPR to kids because it was always important for kids to learn how to save a life. Because it could be their parents' life or a peer's life. So I did that. Actually, Maureen and I, my partner from EMS, Maureen and I used to work in Queens for what was our truck number? 44 Charlie. Maureen and I used to do that as well. So I was already a teacher, just not in the UFT. But I don't think I could teach automotive. But yeah. I've learned how to do a lot of things that way, and people will definitely help you. During COVID too, I had rotten steps on the porch that I needed to get fixed, and I couldn't find anyone willing to come and do it. And then you couldn't find screws, and it was hard to find wood. So I just would source all of the wood stores to find where I could get wood and screws, and sometimes it was multiple stops during the day, you know. And finally, when I had everything that I needed, I'll show you my staircase. And I have videos on that. I still have to download them, because if you guys have live videos on your Facebook, just know that Facebook is deleting all live videos that'll be older than 30 days old. So if you have old stuff on your Facebook, make sure you download your videos, because they're getting rid of them. So the front of my house has a Jack and Jill staircase. And this is one side of the staircase. So I literally rebuilt this during COVID. And my neighbor Gary helped me do it, because I had to cut those stringers on the sides going up the stairs. And that piece of wood was absolutely heavy. It was like, I don't know, 16 feet long, and I think 16 inches wide or 12 inches wide. It was huge, and it was heavy, and it had to be cut. It had to be cut just right, so you can do that. So I was able to save all of the treads, but I had to put all new risers going up. So anyway, sun's going down, and I got to get the cars back in the garage. So so thanks for joining me. I wanted to prove to you I was taking a break today, because you're always telling me to take a break, and I wanted to let you know that I was. But it is a nice day. I don't know, you can't really see the clouds and the sun going down, but it is pretty. So I'm going to figure out why my taillights are still on, and get back to putting my cars away, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.